there.
There we go.
Okay.
So,
If you guys want to check in on Facebook and like or speak. Yeah.
So welcome back. We had a little technical difficulty. So we're going to go into the year in office, and a lot of it's stuff that John just mentioned and I talked about already, and that's begin your club visit. And you don't have to make an appointment to visit a club, but do start visiting with your clubs. And the clubs, the presidents have already been notified of when the tentative district governor visit is. So make sure you start getting preparation for that, because they usually start earlier in the year, and you want to make sure everybody's in tune with that visit. We're going to go through that a little bit later. Make sure to keep the updated membership lists and club invoices due to RI. You've got to have that done by January 1st. Here's the next one.
There's something
Yeah, hit the arrow. There you go. Oops.
that one?
Yes. So in May, now since I've been an assistant governor, this has changed a little. The reason you want to start rating the clubs is it helps the incoming governor, the incoming ex-AG, and the incoming assistant governors know any particular wins or needs improvement for a particular club. It's a huge deal to have those notes in there. Meet with the incoming AG. If you're an outgoing AG, start meeting with the incoming AG and bring them up to speed on the club. If you're a repeat AG, as John said, we don't want you talking to yourself, so just move forward to the next year. So this is a really big deal this year, and as I mentioned, as part of the President's Advance, we're seeing a lot of communication, a lot of concerns about membership. The longer the members have been in, I just celebrated my 25th anniversary. I'm not an old member in my head, but my club thinks so, I don't know. But the vibrancy of the club is not based on, it's interesting, the perception. It's not based on how you greet someone when you walk into the club. Hi, I'm Linda with the Downtown Las Vegas Rotary Club. I'm so glad you're here. That's not it. It's the energy in the club. It's the interaction in the club. And there's actually some resources for you in your assistant governor's manual about the vibrancy of your club. And one of the things that they recommend is encourage your presidents. I know it's really hard to do, but start asking the tough questions. How are we doing? Our club just did that. It was an eye-opener. Hello, past district governor Novotny.
You moved.
We did. So in your book, under Vibrant Clubs, you'll see Start with Rotary Health Check and a membership assessment tool. That's an eye-opener. I think if you can sit down and work with your presidents-elect and maybe get input from the outgoing president on the direction of the club, it's a little more cohesive and everybody gets an idea about what the club may need or the perception of that. One thing I did my year as assistant governor, my last year, is I brought my 5 presidents together, and we had dinner at my home, and we sat down collectively and talked and said, what do you want? And each of them, the most wonderful thing about this is each of them fed off of the other. That's a great idea. I'm going to take that back to my club. It's like any small, intimate group. When you get them together, people get excited because they're being listened to. They have great ideas. And actually, some of the information and the ideas we took back, or they took back to their own clubs and implemented. It's just one more resource. And the other thing that we found is those 5 presidents talk to each other throughout the year. I would send an email recapping the things that I think were important for them, and they would respond, hey, by the way, I wanted to let you know we did this, or we're doing this, we have this event. So it really brought the cohesiveness of those 5 clubs, or 6 clubs, or 4 clubs, whatever you have. The goals, that's something they went over in PETS, so maybe make sure that the presidents-elect are getting their goals input into Rotary Central. It's really important, and it's really important for a multitude of things, and I would encourage them, especially the mid or smaller clubs, share your goals with your members. Don't make it your goal. Make it a club goal and maybe get input from the members. And the other thing is share it with your board. You've got to have support. You can't do it by yourself. That's why you have a board. You have a support group. And not only that, share it with your other presidents in your group. They're going to support you. Maybe they've got some that they can offer to that. The governor, well, that's the governor. We'll talk about that later. The other thing I would strongly encourage is know the bylaws. How many Rotary Club Central? They've all been trained at President-elect training, correct, John?
Yes.
Okay.
They were all there.
Sign up for the RI newsletter. And more importantly than that, when I was assistant governor, there are different committees that there are specific newsletters for them: membership, foundation, fellowship. There's all kinds of specific newsletters, and you can send those to the chairs and say, hey, this would be a great, or a director, whatever their role is. This would be great to sign up. There's some great ideas in the RI website, or just the RI. I get a weekly bulletin about membership and about different action groups and things like that. So this would be a great tool for you guys to encourage your clubs to do. Next. Okay, availability. I work full-time. I work 60 hours a week. I'm off on Sunday. But my availability to my presidents was really important, so they knew that they could text me when they needed me. They knew that they could call me if it was really urgent, and I would always respond to their emails as well. Be available, try to be a resource, and here's why. You think, as president, they get too many emails? Well, our governor gets 10 times that. So he can't possibly be, not that he's not available, but to be a direct resource for our presidents isn't practical for him. So as governor, you've done this before, Todd, right?
What?
Assistant governor?
Yeah, I'm currently one.
Okay.
And then staying on.
So there's not a chain of command, but there's just a chain of respect. So if Todd wants to find out something that he can't resource, he'll reach out to his ex-AG, which is in our area, Robert Bridell. And if Robert can't find it, he'll reach out to John. So what happens is that keeps John out of the loop for a little bit so he can manage the 10,000 emails he gets every day. But do be available, try to connect the clubs, and sharing this information, club events. This was the other thing. When I would do a club visit, I was always sharing another club's program. Hey, I wanted to let you know North Las Vegas is doing this. The Summerlin Club is doing their, you guys just had your party.
Tuesday.
Was it good?
Excellent.
They had their Mardi Gras party, so if I had been their AG and visiting my other clubs, I would have mentioned that. They have a wine event too. Las Vegas Downtown Club has the block party. So there's different things you can do to promote, and that brings that cohesiveness so we don't all feel like an island. And sometimes as a president, we do feel pretty alone. And you will too as an AG sometimes too.
Marianne Avnet was online if you want to say hi.
Hi, Marianne. Nice to have you. So here's what I did for my presidents. Once a week, on a Saturday morning, I would go through all the emails. I'd go through the 5300 website. I would go through the RI website and look at things like deadlines for reports, upcoming events. So we always want to be promoting district conference. Always want to be promoting that. So it was always in my notes to them. And a love letter to your presidents at that point's probably not applicable. You want to do bullet points because they're in a hurry too and they've got a life. So just bullet points. Hey, this is due this date. Las Vegas Club is having Santa Claus. Remind your members about that. Just the things that really will help them, because what I hear from the presidents is we're getting too many emails, and it's not 5,300. It's from all over. So anything you can do to condense that down. My presidents got to the point where they knew if it was coming from me, it was just the guts of what they needed to know to run their club. So be that resource for them. Next. Club visits. I think we've covered that quite a bit. Meet and greet, sit with somebody different, get to know the club, not only as the president, but as the members. I think we've covered that plenty. Minimum club standards, that would be District Governor-elect John Chase.
So before I get into minimum club standards, I want to read a Facebook post that actually went out on August 17th last year. And it was from Rich Delacqua. Rich is a member of 5330. He's a past district governor. And he said he had this to say about his years. I asked how they were successful, and they said that they treat their meetings like a show production meant to entertain their members and their guests. Even their program chair announces future programs like it's something no one would want to miss. Today's program simply was shop talks by two members. The venue looked like a traditional inviting Rotary meeting, and the guests were treated very well. So I guess what I would say is treat your meetings, and maybe even we need to change that and say we're not having Rotary meetings. Maybe we need to say we're having Rotary events, and they're designed to entertain our members. And I know clubs that do that very well. Todd's club, Boulder City Sunrise, I was there this morning, and they do that. They treat it as an event, something special for their members, meant to engage. A couple things before I get to the slide. At PETS, we met with the presidents. I had the chance to spend about 4 or 5 hours with the presidents-elect, and we did a couple things a little bit differently. First off, we broke them into groups. I broke them into two types of groups first throughout the day. The first group was by club size. We have about 20 clubs that have less than 20 members. Those are clubs that are doing amazing things in their community. They're just having some struggles with membership. So I wanted them to talk to one another about some of those. So we tossed out the topic of membership and relevance to their community, and I challenged them to just meet in their small groups of 8 or 10 to talk about that and see how they're doing in their communities. And I would ask you to, and I think they'll probably be expecting this, ask whether it's a strong, vibrant club, if their decisions they're making are relevant to their community, or if it's a smaller club that might be struggling, are they relevant in their community? And if they're not, then what do we need to do to get them back to that level of relevance that they once had? And then I shared with them the secret that they're all relevant. We just need to talk about it more. We don't often brag enough about all the great things our clubs are doing. So I wanted them to go back to their clubs, have that conversation of relevance with their president or with their club members, and then let them know that they are absolutely relevant. It's just a matter of talking about what they're doing to their community and inviting others to join them. So relevance is something that they're going to expect. I think that when the assistant governors go to their clubs, that would be a topic that they would be expecting. The other thing that really is going to be changing over the next year that I need some assistance from the would probably be pulling that off of DACDB. They've got a new newsletter module that they keep talking about, but I haven't seen it yet.
Only if you train me.
But we're probably going to be pulling that off, and it's going to become very club and member centric, less about what the district's doing and all about what the clubs are doing. As a matter of fact, the district governor's column will be the last one, and it'll be a governor wrap-up. So if they happen to look at the whole newsletter, they might see some chatter from me at the bottom of the last page. But again, we can't have a club-centric and member-centric newsletter without input from the clubs. So we want pictures of what they're doing, what they've done. Lancaster just took their members on a cruise down to Ensenada. We want to see pictures of that. We want to hear about that in a G version of what all occurred, so we can get that in the newsletter, talk about that fellowship, and share the fact that they're having a great time down there in Lancaster, and the fellowship is all fine. I know Boulder City Sunrise is going to Nashville, I think, next month. So we want to see some of those pictures. We want to talk about it. We also want to talk about what's going on, the Mardi Gras event, the downtown block party, whatever it is they've got coming up, we want in the newsletter, and we'll get in as much as we can. We're going to be taking some of that information that doesn't make it into the newsletter and pushing it out on Facebook and other forms of social media. Zeb Wellborn from Chino Rotary Club is going to be leading that charge for us. He's done an amazing job at his club this year, and we look forward to following his guidance throughout that process. And when we talk about district training assembly, one of the things I think I hear the most is, I did that 10 years ago, I don't need to go to assembly. We're going to get access to people that are professionals like Zeb, who does this type of work with social media for a living, charges a lot of money for it, and we get access to him for the afternoon for free to be able to pick his brain, talk to him about it, and learn from his experiences. And I think that's the relevance that the district can provide, is bringing those people in to talk about things that are super important for us. How are you? Sorry. No, that's okay. So anyway, we're going to be really kind of revolutionizing that whole newsletter and district communication process on Facebook and some of those venues. And again, trying to become more relevant. I want to talk for a second about the emails, because we do get bombarded. I just had Regatta add me to the email list for all the presidents-elect. So if they're getting an email, I'm getting an email, because I want to know who's sending them all these emails that they keep telling me about. So we're going to be monitoring that. District emails will go out on Thursday mornings. So if you need to communicate with the presidents-elect in a mass email, for example, about the Dream Team, then you need to get that email to Mike Soden before Tuesday, and he will put it out Thursday morning. The presidents-elect are expecting emails Thursday morning from the district. If you get it to them Thursday afternoon, it's going to wait till the next week unless it's so pressing that it needs to go out at that point in time. So they'll get emails from the district once a week. Unless something comes up, like I said, that's pressing, that needs to go, that we completely overlook. But I think we can avoid that through most of the year.
So that'll automatically go to all the AGs and myself?
That does need to be set up.
I will make sure that happens. Remind me.
And the XAG.
Yep.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, so the question was, will those emails automatically go out to the AGs and the XAGs? And I'll talk to Mike Soden. I know it can be done because I had them add me to that list because I was talking to my president-elect and he was saying that he's getting bombarded with emails from the district, and I was like, wow, I'm not getting many from the district. I'm getting them from everybody else, but not from the district. So I said, get me on that mailing list because I want to see what's getting pushed out. So, but anyway, they'll be conversing on Thursday mornings, pushing emails out to the presidents-elect. And the other thing that I've done is I've much to their encouragement, actually, it was their idea, is the subject will be very short and succinct. So it's going to week, or if it's something that needs action immediately. And we've had some degree of success with that. I've been doing that with them for the last 4 or 5 months, and it seems to be going along okay. A couple of events that I want to talk about. First off, on July 1st, I've asked them to assist me with some guidance. I will be driving the district on July 1st. I'll be starting in the Pasadena, Arcadia area, and then we'll be going to either Lancaster, Adelanto area, and then over to Mesquite, and then back to Boulder City, where we'll finish it at Todd's Brew Pub about 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock on the 1st. So when you hear about that event, when you get the timelines all locked in, I'd encourage you to stop by. It's a time for Elizabeth and I to sit down with the presidents and their partner and just give them one last vote of encouragement before they start their year. It'll start about 7 o'clock in the Arcadia area, and it'll work through the district, and we'll probably stop 4 different places along the way. The other thing we've asked them to do is take a look at July, the weekend in July, a couple of them, and pick a weekend for California and one for Nevada to have a family Rotary picnic. I just want to have something simple in a park somewhere where we can get our families together, have a hamburger or a hot dog, and share some fellowship, maybe throw the frisbee around, kick the ball, and just have some fun. So we'll be doing one of those in California and one of those in Nevada. No pressure, Robert, but I did express a preference for the Police Memorial Park, and I know you guys have a connection to that. So Michael assured me that that could probably occur. July 24th is when I start the club visits, and we hit the ground running in Glendora. So that's a little bit about the visits. The other thing when they were at PETS is I pulled in the Rotary International staff. So we talked a little bit about the importance of the bylaws. So they got to meet Sophie Dangerfield from Rotary International, who is their club and district support person. So if they have a problem with their bylaws and they need a review or something put down at a board meeting that they don't think is right and they got a question about it, Sophie is their point of contact. So she spent about 15 minutes with them so they can put a name to the face. So if they have to call back to Rotary International, they're not calling a stranger, they're calling somebody that they've at least met once or twice. And she was there all weekend. They also met with Nicole Jones, who's the membership representative for Rotary International for our area. And any questions about membership, anything that they need membership related, would be handled by Nicole or her staff, and they met with her. And lastly, they met with Steve Solomon, who is the foundation giving officer for our area, and he spent about 10 minutes with them as well. So we tried to, we tried to introduce them to several of the people that they would be interacting with should a need arise that they needed to call back to Rotary International. The last thing I want to talk about before I get to these three things, or a few things, is the district conference. I haven't had a chance really to talk to the presidents-elect about the district conference yet. I'll be talking more about that at Assembly. But the district conference will be in Anaheim. It's going to be a family-friendly conference. We're going to have Interact Kids taking our Rotarians kids and doing some different projects over one portion of the hotel while we're doing our conference on the other side. My hope is that we engage families, the family of Rotary, that we don't exclude those.
When you say characters, you don't mean the PDGs, right? You mean Disney.
No, that'd be real characters.
We want breathing people.
Yeah. So it'll be a nice opportunity, I think, for the families to come together. Maybe some people that we don't normally see at conferences because they have young children, and they maybe hear back from them whether or not we can come up with something. But again, I don't want a free ride for them. I want them to have to earn it if we're able to get that negotiated.
You have the date for that?
It'll be the 4th and 5th, or 5th and 6th of May. That Friday, Saturday. Again, the conference will end Saturday at the hospitality suite. After the hospitality suite, nothing on Sunday for them to go enjoy the greater Anaheim area, so no breakfast on Sunday. So a couple more things on regular meetings. I think one of the things that's interesting is the meetings are very fluid. We've got a lot of clubs that are meeting at different times, different places. So make sure that whatever it is, there's some consistency. And encourage those smaller clubs that are thinking about going to 2 meetings to consider that pretty hard. I think sometimes they do it because there's maybe a lack of attendance, maybe a lack of excitement at the club meeting, so they think, you know what, we'll just go to 2 meetings, and maybe if we go to 2 meetings, maybe people will be more excited, more likely to attend. I just don't think that's a good practice. We need to try and make it relevant, and I think we got to get their members engaged, and it's hard to do that when you start cutting the meeting times in half. Sometimes I think that's almost dying on the vine, so to speak. So I want to try and encourage clubs. If they've got something very succinct, like I was in South Pasadena, they meet 3 times a month, and then they have a once a month social like your club, and it's very vibrant. I went to their social, it started at 6, and I left at 10, and they were still going. So,
Wow.
So South Pasadena socials are a lot of fun.
So I'd just like to add to that if you're considering going to, if you're considering going to a twice a month meeting, I would encourage you not to just make that decision, but have a collective conversation with your members. You need to engage. I know the Summerlin Club was immensely successful with going to twice a month for a meeting and a social because it was a club decision. Everyone was brought together. They talked about it. They worked on it. And their club has grown leaps and bounds as a result of it being a collective decision. So whatever you decide to do to tweak your club, first check the bylaws, make sure you can do it. Secondly, involve every single member. You may get a questionnaire, but the questionnaire isn't the end of it. You need to bring everyone in. So encourage your presidents to work, and then work with them if you can to make that happen.
So as it relates to service projects, they're going to have an opportunity to do some service projects together and separately as a club. There is a service project that we unveiled that we'll be doing with District 5330 in Mexicali on January 6th of 2019. We'll be able to take approximately 50 folks with us, and we'll be doing some work. The significance of January 6th is that's All Kings Day. Generally speaking, in the Mexican culture, they give more practical gifts on Christmas, and they get toys and things on All Kings Day. So we'll be going down there with some homeless children, or meeting up with some homeless children to give out gifts on All Kings Day, and then we'll be doing a hands-on project with one of the orphanages in the Mexicali area, and maybe one of the schools for the deaf in the Mexicali area. That'll be on January 6th. We can provide, and how can we help facilitate something at the district level? So through conversation with others, Elizabeth and I had some conversation, and some of the presidents-elect, and what we've decided is the governor's project will be very similar to what they do in the past, where they do the cash call at district assembly. Once the money's collected, we will be distributing that money back to the AGs to work with their clubs in their area. So if you have 5 clubs in your area, you'll get X amount of dollars. That formula is still being worked out, and you'll be able to design a project with your presidents-elect in your area that's relevant to their community. And it's my goal that we get all 4 or 5 presidents working together, get their club members together, and do something meaningful in their community. And I'm hoping they have $4,000 to $5,000 to do that. They might also choose to put some of their district designated funds into that, make it a $7,000 project or an $8,000 project. But again, I want all 4 clubs or 5 clubs, whatever you have in your area, to have consensus and buy-in on what that project is, and that it meets their community's needs, and that we want to move it forward. So my goal there is simply fellowship and getting the clubs to work together as a unit, and to have a good time doing that. It's my hope that Elizabeth and I can attend those events. So as soon as you start talking with your presidents about that, let us know so we can get that date in our calendar so we can try and be there as well. But again, it's really just kind of a way to get the presidents working together. I think the power of 4 or 5 clubs coming together is going to be pretty amazing. I have no idea what that project might be. It could be a Santa Claus project, it could be a dictionary project, it could be painting a Boys and Girls Club, it could be putting a park in a bench. I have no idea, don't even care what it is, quite honestly, as long as they're working together and making it happen and everybody's buying into it and having a good time with it. So it'll be money that the clubs donated, so there's no restriction. So we really have a lot of flexibility to meet their needs and have it come together. Accepts a DG visit. I don't exactly know what that is, other than maybe some DGs weren't accepted in the past, but I don't think that'll be a problem. And if it is, they'll get over it pretty quickly, I think. So, pay dues to RI and 5,300. So that seems like a no-brainer, but we do have clubs, as Tom can attest, that it's a struggle to get dues paid in a timely manner. So, if we get that note from Tom, our district administrator, just give that club a call pretty quickly and let's try and get those dues paid so we're not chasing them around. We just had, December we're getting dues from July and new dues are coming out in January. The other thing with that dues is make sure they're reporting membership accurately. We see a huge dump of members in December and in June as they clear the books out because the dues are assessed on July 1 and on January 1. So have them keep their books up to date throughout the year so we know where we're at relevant to membership. Right now we're down 34 for the year, for Regatta's year. Last year we ended the year about 196 members short of what we started the year with. So we do have some membership issues that we got to work on and try and address. So make sure they're timely and accurate. Liability insurance, I won't spend too much time on this other than to let you know that there is my AV person's out of control over here. Liability insurance district DIR district insurance representative that'll be in the directory this year. And if you have any insurance questions, he's an individual, Ryan McCracken, that's been in the business for a couple dozen years, and he's got a lot of history and a lot of the knowledge on the insurance, and he can help you guide you through those if you run into any questions. And then again, just like the governor's project, if you will, our goal is cooperation with the clubs in the district. We're not here to tell them how to run their clubs. We're just here to try and help them be the best that they can be, and to be an inspiration to their members. I think we got lucky with a wonderful theme, and like I left the presidents with, it's my goal to inspire them and be the inspiration for them. It's their goal to be the inspiration for their clubs and to create moments, Rotary moments, for each of their club members to enjoy. And that's the challenge that I've left them with, is to create those moments and those opportunities for their members to have a Rotary moment that's significant, that makes them want to come back.
What is the theme? What is the theme?
Be the inspiration.
Okay.
My favorite. It's probably my favorite theme ever. So, do we have a slide for the governor's visit? Aha. So, here's the thing about the governor's visit. Every organization has accountability. The governor's visit is part of the RI rules, regs, bylaws, constitution, whatever. He has to make club visits key for next year. And because it's a requirement, there's a little bit of drudge and not too much anticipation about the visit with some of the clubs. And so as an assistant governor, you have a chance to change that. You have a chance to inspire. So if you have a struggling club of maybe 8 members or 10 members, look at the schedule and see if you can do a combination meeting, a joint meeting. We used to do that with Tom's club, the Las Vegas West Club, our downtown. Back then we were the Fremont Club. We would do a joint meeting when the governor came. Honestly, that room full of people was a lot of synergy, a lot of energy. It made the governor's visit a lot more fun.
Keith Buchalter from Mesquite is online.
Hi, Keith. Welcome. So Keith is going to be a new assistant governor this year out of Mesquite. I think it's our first assistant governor ever out of Mesquite. So congratulations, Keith.
So we just talk for a moment, just quick, because Linda's giving me the stop talking mode. But the club visit, the official club visit, is an opportunity for me really to visit with the club, and I can do that in any format they want. I don't have to go give a speech to their club. If a smaller club says, John, the best thing you can do is come over to the president's house and have dinner with us and just shoot the breeze for a little bit, that's exactly what I'll do. If it's to go to a fundraiser and help them pull some grill some hamburgers, and meet with their club a little bit beforehand, that's what I'll do. It's all about what their needs are. And if they don't want an official visit where I stand up and lecture or deliver a speech for 30 minutes, then I don't have to do that. It'll be what they want, and they've already been told that. So,
Well, that was the rest of my program guide. No, I'm kidding. Thank you, John. So while he's talking about that, as you notice, if you're not hearing, there's a different direction that John is taking it next year. A little less formal, nevertheless, things that we have to do, and he has accountability. So some things to consider when you have the district governor coming. How about saving your Paul Harris awards for the district governor? How about saving some new member installations for the assistant governor, or for the district governor? Sorry, I just demoted you. Save those moments for the district governor. If your club happens to do a membership, member of the month, save that for the district governor to promote. Maybe you have 3 members in the club as a president that you want to honor. Let him honor. You're smiling at me. No, you're not talking anymore. You're done. So there are moments during the district governor's visit, because John's not so much about the speech.
Club. It was very successful. Plus, it allowed us to get to know each other better.
So there you go. I mean, that's just this year. You can do a lot to promote your activities, your membership. There's a cohesiveness about joint meetings. So I would encourage you to do that, especially for the governor's visit. If you have things to talk about with the governor, set time aside before the meeting. Some of the clubs have done, I don't know, did you do your board meetings with the governor as well as his regular visit?
No, well, with Regatta, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't want it.
Okay, so that was old school, I can tell you. That was old school, right, Tom, where we did the governor's visit during the board meeting and you talked about everything. So maybe instead of doing that, John's approach is, let's talk about it publicly with everybody. What are the awesome things you're doing as a club? And you want to promote your club, this is the time to do it with your governor there. Bring new members, potential members, I should say, and get them familiar with Rotary. The district governor's visit isn't this dry, boring thing that people think it is. It can be very engaging, and when you've got someone who's very excited about maybe looking into Rotary, but a little not certain about what it is, this is the moment to bring it all together, either as a joint meeting or it'd be difficult with the Las Vegas Club to have a joint meeting unless we were at Cashman Field. I mean, I just don't know. Yes?
What Regatta did this year was, the club meeting was really a club assembly.
Correct.
Rather than, and she combined the two that way.
Yeah, it was very creative. It was very creative. So John's going to be open to whatever works for your clubs, and if the clubs want to have a joint meeting with 2 or 3 or 4 or all 5 of the clubs, do it. I think it'll be a lot of fun. There'll be a lot of energy in the room. But he has to make the governor's visit, so be nice, welcome him with open arms, AGs, set the tone, make it best.
You know, now that marijuana is legal in here, a joint meeting takes on
A joint meeting in Las Vegas. Oh boy, that had to come out. So preparation for the governor's visit, I'll let you guys read all of that because it'll depend on the format that you're going to have. I would encourage you to have something to present to John other than a coffee mug or flowers or something. He doesn't want any gifts, by the way, I'll tell you that. Maybe donate to your charity, like who donates to, what do you donate to, the shoes, the for
The
speakers?
shelter, you mean, as far as the donation we make for everybody?
For every speaker. So John is your speaker that, excuse me, District Governor-elect John Chase, is your speaker that day. Do everything you would normally do. Donate in his name and Elizabeth's name to your club's charity, Santa Claus, whatever it is. It's really worthwhile. But maybe give him an idea of what you're doing. You're just...
It's actually, I've asked the president, all the president-elects know this, to make a donation to the End Polio Now campaign in honor of their newest member is what we've asked.
I like
that. No gifts, donate to the End Polio Now campaign, and encourage your members to do the same.
And you guys all know I'm all about the End Polio campaign. We're this close, and I didn't get to make the trip this year, so my heart's a little sad about that. So anyway, wrapping up the governor's visit, because we don't need to spend a lot of time on it, just be able to give information to John about your club, whether it's a piece of paper, an email, but give him something to hold on to so he can go back and report, because he does have to report to RI. Yes, they visited the club. Yes, this is what happened. And please welcome him and Elizabeth with open arms. This is a lot of work. This is a lot of work, and you guys are going to be his liaison. The XAGs are going to be helping you with all of that. So, I would just like to, or do you have one more thing to say? Oh my gosh, here comes John.
So a couple things. Is this the end of it?
We're almost at the
Okay,
end.
so a couple things that came
You are
up
not the end.
when Linda was talking. I have asked the presidents to make a donation in lieu of giving Elizabeth and I any sort of gift to make us elect. So I did help them identify and make sure they've got that person identified. And lastly,
What's a person of action?
just somebody that's so significant to their club that keeps it moving forward. And there'll be more information on that coming out here shortly. Lastly, all club visits and my interaction with the clubs will be managed by the Chief of Staff, Lee Hagan from Boulder City Sunrise. So if they want to do a group visit, that's fine. Just work it out with Lee, and she's got full access to my calendar, and she's adding stuff pretty regularly at this point. She seems to enjoy telling me where to go. I don't get it, but she does seem to enjoy that. Presidents-elect that want to have a few moments with John, the incoming Rotary International Vice President. We'll be setting up an activity or an event on DACDB for them to be able to register so we can have a good count of how many people. It's a great opportunity. He's going to be speaking at Michael's club's birthday party, their 95th birthday party. Michael said, hey, John's in town. When he passed it on to me, you might want to see if we can pull another event. And Boulder City is certainly one of our more vibrant clubs that we're going to be enjoying some time with him. And the last thing I want to say, in part besides thank you, is the joint meetings aren't just for small clubs. Regatta did some very unique things with the club visits this year. Some really have embraced that idea and really look forward to it. I know Arcadia, that's got about 90 members, is going to be doing a joint meeting, it sounds like, with a couple of clubs in their area. They enjoyed that format. They enjoyed being there as a cheerleader for some of the small clubs and supporting them, and they like that team atmosphere. Makes no difference to me. What works for them will work for us, and Lee's there to make that happen. So thank you, Linda. Thank you, Michael, and I'm going to step off the side here.
So, yeah, the joint meeting, if you bring your presidents together at the beginning of the year or before the beginning of the year, you can create these kinds of things with the joint meetings or the joint events or Rotary at Work Day. What are all the clubs that in your group came together and did one Rotary at Work Day? Something bigger, better, more? I don't know. Think about it. So I'd kind of like to end this with just be a resource, be available as much as you can. You know what, when you do a club visit and you see something extraordinary from the president, write him a note, whether it's an email, a text, and also find out from your presidents what kind of communication works best. Smoke signals, texting, email, snail mail, so you'll know how to communicate with them. We still have communication things in all these different formats. Maybe it's a Facebook private messenger. I get business stuff on there now. It's quite unique. But write a note to your president. Write a note to that member that was so extraordinary at that meeting or who got that award or whatever. Maybe send a note. Send a note. You are going to connect with them so much and make that president and that club feel so much more important. You are an extension of John. Be that extension and really be that friend to the presidents, because this is for new presidents, new assistant governors. This is your first year or your second? Yeah, first. Yeah, it's a lot. You got a great XAG here. Yeah. You've got your great XAG here for Southern Nevada. Who's our XAG? Roger Gutierrez, is he? Okay, so I think he's on this as well.
No.
Okay, so be a resource. You have resources. In the back of the manual are tons of places to visit on the RI website. District 5300 has plenty of links. So use your resources, be the resource, and have an awesome 2018-19. Be the inspiration, as the governor has reminded me. So, yes, sir.
Could I make a suggestion to, and you seem very well organized, but in the past, the district calendar is almost meaningless, and it should be a fairly easy thing to keep that up to date. And so that we can rely on going to that and knowing what's going on. It's really hard when for example, this thing, he sends me a note, it's tomorrow, oh no wait, it's next week, and everybody's kind of discombobulated, you don't get full participation, people show up late because
Actually, everybody's here but Keith for our area.
Right.
We're good.
He's
We're
online.
good. And he's online, so we're good.
but
But yes, I agree, and that's on the president's advance, that's some of the input I've had as well, as the calendar needs to be more current. Are there any questions from our Facebook audience? Any input, any ideas?
No, Keith says, thanks for setting up the live stream. It makes us a lot easier for those who are in the outskirts of Las Vegas, and we hope to see you all soon in Mesquite.
Nice.
Mi casa es su casa.
Aw. All right, everyone, thank you for coming. Enjoy your year, and we're done.
Thank you.